Macmillan Audio presents Running the Maze by Gunnery Sergeant Jack Coughlin, USMC, retired, with Donald A. Davis. Read for you by Luke Daniels. One. 5-minute break. Dr. Joey Ledford sat on the shaky remnants of a wooden chair, smoking a Marlboro and sweating while monsoon rain slammed the tin roof of the makeshift medical clinic of United Nations Refugee Camp 5. Somewhere, doctors and nurses were performing surgeries in antiseptic, air-conditioned rooms that were packed with every conceivable device of the medical arts, with storage areas nearby, bulging with vital, life-saving medicines. They were listening to Bach, or Nora Jones, or Latin jazz, as they performed meticulous cuts and closed wounds with care, taking all the time they needed to do it right. Somewhere, the magical art of medicine was a smooth choreography conducted by well-educated professionals in offices and clinics and hospitals. Somewhere, but not here. Ledford exhaled, and twin streams of cigarette smoke flowed from his nostrils. The rain was not a gentle and sweet thunder shower like back in Iowa. Instead of giving life to crops, this was unrelenting and fell in great sheets, as if some angry demon had ripped open the bellies of the fat black clouds. He looked out at the sprawl of the camp, where thousands of people were hiding under whatever shelter they could find. Armed guards were at the clinic door to keep them out. They had been driven out of their homes by overflowing rivers and leaking dams, and were still being pursued by water. Poor creatures, Ledford thought. Poor damned souls. Sweat caked his t-shirt and khakis, and when he dropped the cigarette and ground it out, he noticed the bloodstains on his black rubber boots had become deep, splotchy layers during the day, and he could not recall the individual patients from which the blood had come. He would wash it off later. Break over, Ledford tucked back into the tent, back into the world of misery. He sloshed his hands in a basin, slid gloves on, and put on a surgical mask and a fresh apron, then walked over to what once had been someone's kitchen table, but now served a higher purpose as an operating room surface. It was covered by squares of disposable white paper, on which a baby girl lay screaming as a nurse inserted an IV needle in her arm to start a drip. The mother shrieked nearby, echoing and amplifying the suffering of her one surviving child.
"It looks like another cholera," a nurse replied. "Once you set the broken arm, we will begin the antibiotics."
Ledford nodded. "We have any patient history or x-rays for her?"
"No. She's about 6 months old, has a 101 fever and coughing, cries a week. The mother just arrived this morning and said a big rock banged into the child during a mudslide 2 days ago."
The doctor wasted no time complaining about what they didn't have, because they could only work with what was available. He was 31, and even 6 feet tall, had longish dark hair that reached his collar, and possessed impeccable credentials. University of Iowa for pre-med, then the Carver College of Medicine there, followed by a 3-year internal medicine residency at the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. He'd been ready for the next step toward a successful career when he decided to take a holiday from his studies and go see the world. He did not like what he found out there. He had a rugged, handsome face, but the eyes were those of a combat veteran, for he had seen horror after horror in refugee camps from Haiti to Africa. The emergency calls for help from Pakistan when the flood struck had come as he was wrapping up an assignment in Bangladesh, and he did not hesitate. This was who he was now, at least for as long as he could stand it.
"Okay."
Ledford nodded to the anesthesiologist, David Foley, an irreverent Canadian from Ottawa.
"Let's put the kid to sleep so we can move her on down."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?